Sing along. That's okay with me.
Dinner date tonight.
Dinner date tonight.
Nice.
Don't want to miss out on that. I got home at 9 o'clock after last week. I was so tired after. Stopped at Ruby Tuesdays in Lexington and just sat at the salad bar for about a half an hour and had salad.
Nice.
That was a positive step, as it would be. So, what were they up to here in occupational therapy? I haven't seen.
Good. Oh, sorry.
What were they trying to do?
Hey, improve handwriting for engagement in the classroom.
Right. Intervention.
It was an intervention, and by the way, I don't know if I said this last week, but when I was at The Ohio State University, one time it was a 3-credit class over spring break. We took a bus down to Florida, and on the bus ride, then we took the bikes out of the buses when we got to Florida, rode through the Panhandle, and in order to get the 3 credits for this class, you had to keep a journal. And I wrote in my journal every day. The other thing I did, and I haven't done it since then, is it was really hot in Florida. I had trained up in Ohio, and it was spring break, and the only thing that they had in the store that was cold was orange juice. Now, I eat oranges from time to time, and that's okay, but you guys all know that I have what? Asthma and allergies. And the only thing that was cold there was a quart of orange juice. So in 1984, I said, you know what? It's really hot, steamy down here. It's 85 degrees, kind of on the panhandle of Florida. I woofed down that quart of orange juice, and it tasted really, really good. Do you think there was a negative outcome associated with that behavioral?
Apparently.
It turned into a story, it must have been.
I was itching for days.
For another glass?
No, just itching. But, so I haven't had a glass of orange juice since 1984, and nor will I again, but good to test that hypothesis, and there was no false alarm on that one. It was a hit, and it was a bad hit. So the other thing, though, that happened is I wrote up my journal as a 19, 20-year-old, and when I handed it in to the teacher, he wrote back, Stuart, you've got an A in the class, and I can see I have another charter member of the Piss Poor Penmanship Hand Club. So this was before I became a professor, but handwriting was not a strength of mine. So what did they do here? What did they do, and what did they find here?
Intervention.
It was an intervention type of design, trying to help people with handwriting skills, and does it look like it worked?
Yep.
Certain things.
Yes, certain things that look like it worked. So in an intro, what should you do in an intro if you're writing a paper?
Say yes.
But in an intro, what do you need to do if you're writing up an APA or an AMA intro? What should you do in a good intro? Background, literature review, come up with your question. Do they do that here? Yes, they have their research questions at the end and a method section, sample, the instruments, the tools. They do a test, retest, inter-rater reliability, all of that. In order to determine if they got what they thought they got, what should you be doing in a results section? What should you have in a results section? Data. Should you have tables and figures to make it easy for your audience to figure out?
In my abstract?
No, in the results section.
Yes.
Yes, you would want to have simple and easy things to read. So we look at table 1. Is that important for us, table 1? No, that's kind of here's who was in the group. We kind of continue along, and I'm going to point you to, let's see, table 5. We're not going to go into the ANOVA thing here because that's next week. And boy, won't we have fun with that.
Oh, yes.
Bring your listening caps on for that one. Table 5. They had a group that they did this to and a group that they didn't do this to. Pre-test, post-test. Would this be subject to what kind of statistical computation?
Seems like we could do a t-test.
An intervention, a within-subject t-test, which is exactly what they did. If you turn to the next page, what is it on this thing? 24. Table 6 kind of gives you the results here. Their t-test, does it look like most of the things they did helped?
Except for speed.
Except for speed. We'll have to get Keanu Reeves to help out with speed.
Mm.
No, that was a bad joke. No? Nobody remembers that movie? Okay, just ignoring me. Good idea. My dad used to say that I tell jokes for two reasons. One is to make people laugh. That sometimes works. Others is to make people laugh at me. That still keeps people awake. So a good teacher will use both in his arsenal. So if you look at all these, now notice they point, do they actually report their P results correctly here? They put 0, 0, 0, 0. Is that the right way to report things? No, SPSS may have come out with that, but what's the right way of reporting that? Is there always a 1 in a million chance? Yeah, they should have put P less than 001. Never have your students write 0, 0. That's a sign of somebody doesn't know what they're doing. The people who reviewed it, notice they said repeated measures t-test here. And the final column actually is important as well, the effect size. We can look at the effect size, and basically, if you get an effect size that is greater than maybe 0.6, researchers have decided 0.6 and higher is a decent effect size, and you actually have something there. Which effect size is the only one that's kind of less than 0.6 here?
Speed.
Speed and
Near point copy?
near point copy. Not that I know what that means, because I have terrible penmanship on anything. That's why I type everything out for the sake of this. So this is a pre-post-test design, and they look at things, and this is an intervention. This is something people could use. Usually you put your means right in with the t-test, but we're okay with this. But they should report their P's less than 001. You never write P000. If you have students doing this, or if you do this, don't do this, write P less than 001, as it would be. There's always a 1 in a million chance that it has occurred. Okay, let's look at the last article here. Want to read through the abstract, autism? Do people work with autism a little bit?
We're just the bad kids in the back. We didn't come prepared. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Oh, should I pull up the abstract up here? I can actually be helpful.
You should read it out loud.
Would you read it to me? I'll close my eyes and I'll imagine
No, you're good. You could have said that to me. I would have,
it. We have one now. Stuart, we have one.
okay.
Sandy, yeah.
Here we go. Sorry, I forgot to be useful there. It's been a long day.
It's a lot of big words.
A lot of big words. That's a little too big for me. Okay, so what were they trying to do here? They were trying to compare whom and whom?
Autistic versus non.
Autistic versus non-autistic kids on emotional regulation. They had a reliable and valid scale to measure this. Has anybody in the group ever used the child behavior checklist before?
No.
It's kind of a popular one to use, yep, for some people. So they use this here. Their intro has the lit review, kind of going through it. If they're comparing autistic versus non-autistic, would it be a within subject design or an independent sample design? Independent sample. I'm glad you said non-autistic as opposed to normal, because I have a button, statistically speaking, and I put this label on me, mildly normal. So if we go down and look at a few tables, method, kind of going through what they did here, we get to table 1. Table 1 looked pretty good here. Independent sample t-test, they have the sample size here, standard deviations in parentheses, 0.52 and 0.13. Pretty big differences here. Does it look like they have significant results here? Yep, T92, 6.33. So this is the way you would typically report things. If you wrote it out in the manuscript, you'd write the exact probability. With some of these scores being 15 and 9, you'd write P less than 001 instead of 000, but statistically significant. And notice, they have the stars on the bottom of this thing. 3 stars meaning probability less than 001. So does this work for people?
Yeah.
Do people here at Murphy-Deming work with autistic kids, or some people here?
This is happened to us.
Okay,
We just call them our students.
our students. Okay, see if there's anything else useful here. That kind of does it for this. With your indulgence, I'd